Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal match preview time. No time to waste. One game after the other. Literally have a game every 3 days. We've just had that draw against Man City and also that win against Luton, and now we have to travel to Brighton. So Brighton versus Arsenal. Interesting game. But as we've always said the last couple of months, we have to keep winning. That's what we need to do. We must keep winning. That's what you need to do. Obviously, I'm recording this before Liverpool play against Sheffield. We're expecting them to win that game. Crystal Palace will play against Man City on, the early kickoff on Saturday. So before we play, we expect Liverpool and Man City to pick up wins, and then we have the late kickoff on Saturday. Brighton it is. So Brighton is. Let's start by talking about Brighton. Obviously, Brighton is against us. They usually have the better of us. Obviously, this season we did beat them. We'll talk about that game later. But last season, obviously, they beat us 3-0 at home. They've beaten us several times at home. Last season, we did go to their place and score 4 goals, and it was a very open game, and we had so many chances. And we have the capability of beating them. Obviously, they have a few injuries, the likes of Mitoma, but Brighton really do have a squad. Whenever a player gets injured, another player is there. Welbeck is there. Joao Pedro is now back, and there are several very, very good players in that team. But the thing is, they will give you chances. I was just rewatching the game that we played against them in December. That was that period there we had just lost to, I think it was Aston Villa, and after that, we obviously ended up losing to West Ham and losing to Fulham and losing to Liverpool in the FA Cup. That was the period where we were kind of struggling for goals. We were creating a lot of chances. That game against Brighton at home, we had like 15 shots in the first half and only 3 on target. In the second half, we missed so many chances up until Jesus scored the goal. And then for the next like 30 minutes straight, we kept on missing chances, opportunity after opportunity. And Brighton almost nicked it at the end until Kai Havertz scored the second goal to get us a 2-0 victory. So that was then. Right now, obviously, since then, we scored like 1 million goals since that time, and they will give you chances. From what I watched in that game, they gave us so many opportunities. So what we need to do different from that time is take our chances. But Brighton is not going to be easy. They've actually not lost a home game since August. Yeah, they've only lost 1 home game this season in the league. That was against West Ham in August. I actually read that. I was like, wow, that's actually crazy. They've only lost 1 game at home this season. But as we all know, Premier League is crazy, and most teams are very, very funny because Brighton have drawn at home to Sheffield United this season. They've also drawn to Burnley at home. But at the same time, they've scored 4. They've put 4 past Tottenham at home. They've also picked up a point against Liverpool at home as well. So they're a very funny team. They'll draw and lose to the smaller teams, but they'll end up beating the bigger teams. Mostly draws this season against the smaller teams, but they're a very, very weird team. And if you give them chances, they will score. If I remember correctly, recently we've ended Luton's like 17 or 18 game win scoring streak. Luton had scored, I think, in 18 games in a row until we stopped them the other day. Man City had also scored in every single game, I think, since 2022 or something like that, and then we stopped them at the Etihad. Brighton, I'm very sure when you played Brighton, they had also like not failed to score the entire season, and we were the first team to stop them from scoring this season. So defensively, we are very good, and that is what is giving me a lot of confidence right now. I feel like, listen, if we defend well, we get a goal or 2, that is game over. I don't expect them to get 2+ goals, but they're still a very, very good team. We can't underestimate them. Obviously, they're going to be tougher than Luton. Last time we played them, we had that is the time where we had Rice as a number 6. Havertz was still playing as a number 8, but Saka, Martinelli, Jesus were all playing up front, and then Odegaard, Saka, and Martinelli, they were absolutely incredible in that game. And another player who was very good in that game was Zinchenko. So the last couple of games, last season, the last 2 games that we've beaten Brighton, last season away from home and this season at home, Odegaard has looked very sharp in those games alongside Martinelli and Saka. So we need the same. Hopefully, we'll talk about my lineup later on. Hopefully, Saka is back for this one. Hopefully, Martinelli gets to start in this one. And obviously, we know Odegaard is going to be there. Let's see how it goes. Very big win, very big, not big win, but very big game and a big win needed. Doesn't have to be 5-0 or 6-0 as long as you get a win. These days, everyone is so obsessed with entertainment and getting 7-8 goals. If you want entertainment, go and watch our game against Sheffield, go and watch our game against West Ham, our game against Liverpool. Right now, it's about getting the business done. I know goal difference is very important, but to be fair, we have scored a lot of goals this year. Obviously, you can't expect the team to score 7, 8, 9 goals every single day, especially when you rotate. And at least we habituated players in that game. We are now expecting the likes of Declan Rice to start here, and it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a very, very good one. I'm hoping for a win because this is the last game before we play Bayern Munich. 3 days later, we have Bayern Munich, and then I think between Bayern Munich and Aston Villa is the biggest gap that we have, like 5 days, and then it gets even busier and busier and busier. So we need to keep on winning. We're still unbeaten this year, and we need to keep that going against Brighton. So. Which kind of lineup will do it in this game? Which kind of lineup should Arteta go for in this match? So this is what I would go for if I was the manager. I've made a few changes. I've sat down and been thinking, like, who should we go for here and here? Like, it's actually a very good headache for Arteta to have, since now only Timber is out, everyone is back. We have a lot of different options. As I've said, Zinchenko, the game I think last season at Brighton, and this game this season at Arsenal in December against Brighton, he was very good. He was getting into the spaces, getting into midfield, creating like very good passes for Saka and for Martinelli on that left side. He might start. We could also start Tomiyasu. We could bring back Kivia. There's a lot of options these days. But let's go with what I would go for. So obviously, David Ryan goal. And then my back four, I've decided to go for this one. Kivio, Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White. I don't mind if Zinchenko starts. But the thing is, again, with Zinchenko and Partey and Jesus and these guys, you have to watch out for their minutes. I'm not sure how confident I am in Pat and Zinchenko playing 3 games in a row without picking up an injury. So we have to balance it out. You play Jesus today, is benched the next game, and then he plays again. Same with Zinchenko, same with Pat. I don't think they can play 2-3 games in a row. But for Zinchenko, I don't see him playing against Bayern Munich or maybe even Aston Villa next week. So if it starts in this one, I have no problem. I was thinking maybe they have a lot of quick wingers, Brighton, but the likes of Mitoma are injured anyway. They have a Dingra, but he plays on the left side. I wouldn't really mind if Zinchenko ended up starting and maybe sharing the minutes in this game with Kivio. I have no problem. For Tomiyasu, I don't want him in this game. Tomiyasu, we really need him for the Bayern Munich and Aston Villa games where, he's going to have defend against the likes of Son and those kind of players. You need Tomiyasu in terms of defending one-on-one. So for me, that is my back four. That is the back four I've decided to go for. Kivio, Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White. Those ones are always regulars. Is there any of you would like to start Tomiyasu instead of Ben White and rest Ben White for a game like this, obviously against his former team? Let me know. But I think those defenders are so consistent to just keep it going. You can't underestimate any team. But listen, taking out Ben White for Tomiyasu, I don't think it's underestimating. All those players are very, very good. So is it the time to rest Ben White maybe for one game, or should we do it next week against Aston Villa? Let me know. Midfield. Another headache. So Partey is there now. Jorginho is there as well. Now, I was thinking 2 ways for this one. One, Partey has already played this past game. Can he really start 2 games in a row? The same thing I've said about Zinchenko. Without getting an injury or anything, we need to balance Partey's minutes. We need him until the end of the season, so we don't want to throw him in for 4 games in a row and then he picks up another injury. So should we bring in Jorginho? But I was also thinking, should Partey start this one so that you can have Jorginho's experience in the Champions League against Bayern Munich, or how do we balance it out? So for me, I would do 60-30, 60-30. So I would give Jorginho 60 minutes in this game, bring in Partey for 30 minutes, and then the next game, potentially start Partey and then bring in Jorginho for the last 30 minutes for the experience. I wouldn't mind that. However, he balances it between those two, I have no problem. But Jorginho starts for me in this one. They might give you spaces, Brighton, like they did away from home last season when he played them at their place. Odegaard was putting some really incredible passes to Martinelli and Saka. Now, if you have both Odegaard and Jorginho on the pitch, you can pick up those passes. So that would be my holding midfield. And then in front of him, the 2 regulars, Rice and Odegaard. Obviously, Rice played only like 20 minutes or something. Was it 20? I think he played around 25 minutes against Luton. So he got a nice rest there, deserved rest. He starts for me in this one next to Odegaard. Odegaard is just absolutely incredible. Like, if you can go back and watch that game that we played against Brighton at home in December, yes, he had a few chances like to score and stuff, but he was very good. The passes he was giving to Saka, the way he was controlling the midfield, he was absolutely incredible. And then if you watch the game against Luton, the finish, like, he's just an incredible player. So he's the kind of player that I don't think Brighton will park the bus, so Odegaard will be throwing those passes to Saka and to Martinelli, or if Saka is not there, whoever is playing on that side. So for me, that is the midfield. Now, the front line is another area where we have a lot of options. Saka didn't play last game. Nelson started. Trossard is there. Martinelli is there now. Jesus is there now. Havertz is there. Edin Ketty is there. Like there's so many players who can play up front now. So how would we balance it out, or how should we balance it out? So I've decided to go with the same that started against Brighton at home, and that is Saka on the right, Martinelli on the left, Jesus up front. Havertz has also played a lot of minutes, so rest him for this one, potentially play him against Bayern Munich. Would you guys be tempted to give Smith Rowe a start again today? Or against Brighton on Wednesday? Would you be on Wednesday? Is it Wednesday? No, not on Wednesday. On Saturday, would you be tempted to give him a start, or would you like bring him off the bench? I'd like to see him coming off the bench, getting a few more minutes in this one. It looked very good, especially in the first half against Luton. But that would be my lineup, and then that leaves on the bench Ramsdale, Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, Partey, Havertz, Trossard, Smith Rowe, Vieira, and Ketty. So really good bench. Vieira didn't get any minutes against Luton, starting to worry about him. But listen, if you can get a comfortable 2-goal lead in this one or something, or even a 3-goal lead if it's possible, then I'm hoping to see Vieira maybe for an Odegaard in this game. I'm hoping to see Smith Rowe as well. Partey obviously coming on for Jorginho, as I said, and then you could also maybe bring in Zinchenko for Kiwi and Ketty, obviously for one of the forward players. So that is if things are going incredibly well. If you're struggling to score, obviously you can always bring in Zinchenko for Kiwior to get into midfield, and you can always bring in Havertz and Trossard and even Smith Rowe as well. Absolutely no problem. So that is my lineup. Now for the prediction, I always predict. I think against FC Porto said 2-1, so I predicted FC Porto to score. They didn't. I think for Luton, I also said 3-1. Expected thought Luton would score, but the thing is, we're not even allowing these teams, leave alone scoring. You're not even allowing them to have shots. So I'm thinking, listen, I'm expecting another professional performance from Gabriel, Rice, Saliba, White, Kiwior, keeping everything solid, and then a few incredible runs from Saka and Martinelli. Expect us to have at least 10 to 15 shots in this game. Hopefully 6-7 of them are on target. That means we get a lot of chances in this one. And I'd expect us to get a couple of goals. And Brighton might end up scoring. I wanted to go for another 3-1, but this time I'm going to believe in my team and go for a clean sheet. So Brighton 0, Arsenal 3. That is my prediction. I'm going to go for a goal, 2 goals in the first half, and then maybe we slow it down and then score later on. We both have European fixtures coming up. I'd not be surprised if Brighton score. But I'd go for a 3-0 victory. Yes, they've not lost at home. They've only lost once at home this season. Yeah, but they haven't played Arsenal. So 3-0 to Arsenal. I'm going to go for Odegaard to score. He scored there last season. He had a lot of opportunities against them this season as well. I'm going to go for Martinelli with his space in behind. And then I'm going to go for Jesus. So those are my 3 goal scorers. So Odegaard, Jesus, and Martinelli. So let me know your prediction. Let me know what your starting lineup would be. Who would you start on the left side? Zinchenko, Kiwior, or Tomiyasu? Who would you start in midfield? Partey or Jorginho? Would you give Partey 2 games in a row? Are you concerned about his injuries? And then up front, would you keep Havertz instead of Jesus? Would you play both of them and leave Saka on the bench again? Or would you leave Martinelli on the bench again for this one? Martinelli has come on the right side the last 2 games, but he's not really looked sharp on that right side, so we need to take him back to the left side. So that is a preview. Big game again. We need to keep on winning. This year, I think 9 wins and a draw. We need to make it 11 games and beaten 10 wins. Let's hope we do. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.